What is up, fluffernuts? My name is Ilex, and I am your coloring cryptid. Now, what exactly makes me a cryptid? Is it because I'm elusive and kind of shy, or is it because science can't yet prove my location? I'll let you be the judge of that. Today I'm joined by my very good, very old friend, Obelisk the Tormentor. In lieu of a desk mat, I decided to use this old Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat for now, so please bear with me. I know you first heard from me not too long ago, and I don't want you to get sick of me so soon, but posting my first video and getting all of those positive remarks really lit a fire inside of me. I feel like a kid who just got a toy they really wanted, and that passion has really driven me to make my next video already. And I hope to ride this feeling for a long time, going into my work week and then hopefully my next off week. Plus, I did kind of promise you guys at least a couple of videos every other week while I am off of work. So today I'd like to share with you the contents of my highly curated coloring book collection. Don't freak out now when I say that I've only been on my coloring journey for a year, and I've already amassed almost 80 books in total, with more on the way for sure. But to be fair to myself, I've always been one to jump straight into things that I decide that I really like. If I decide I like something, I need to know everything about it. I need to know all the good, all the bad, all the ugly, all the pretty. And there's a lot of pretty in the coloring community. And I basically intend to stick with this hobby for the rest of my life, unless the quality of art supplies and coloring books greatly decreases or terribly increases in price, basically. And basically, I'd like to preface this collection by saying a lot of these coloring books I have currently are untouched. So please don't judge me too harshly. I do have a full-time job, and I do take care of my ill grandmother on the side, and I myself do have several disabilities of my own. That being said, I am going to use this showing off of my collection as an excuse to go through all of my untouched books and find each page inside of them that I want to be the first colored. And I plan on marking each and every first page with a bit of this beautiful rose washi tape. Don't worry, I'm not going to let the pages get damaged. And admittedly, some of these books are quite daunting to me, which is why I haven't touched them yet, along with my time constraints. Looking at you, Dream Voyage. But I will be going through my collection as it is laid out on my shelf, starting now with my hardcover books. And I don't know any hardcover books that I'd rather start with than these two. Good old F&F, Fairy Tales and Folklore, and Fantasy World by the wonderful Ms. Amelia Lederhall Oberg. Now, everybody knows what these two books look like. I'm not going to bother flipping through books that most of the community knows, but if I find a book of mine is more on the rare side, I will do a bit of a flip through of it and show off some of the pages. But these two, everybody knows these two. Now, what make these two quite bad is that I haven't colored in either of them yet. And most of that goes without saying that I don't really know what mediums to use in these books. People have gone back and forth on what pencils work best. Do I use Prismas? Do I use Polys? Do I use Holbein? Do I use my own blood? I do not know. That being said, I do have to find the first page I want to do in F&F. And I think I found it. It will be this unicorn in this beautiful little cloche. Now, I'm not really used to coloring animals, but I do love coloring glass and plants in fancy metal. So I will take on the challenge of coloring this adorable little critter in his natural, unnatural habitat. Next, I'll find the page I want to color in fantasy worlds. And once again, I found it. It's this beautiful mermaid woman with all of this coral and shells and sea life as her hair. I absolutely love coloring people and coloring skin, and I feel like giving her a more preternatural skin tone would lend very well to all of the things growing out of her head. So I'm going to mark this page as my first in Fantasy World. Now, my next book is actually quite special, and I am going to show it off a bit. It is my only Korean book, and it is Hanbok Fairy Tales by Woo Na-young. Now, this book actually is touched. I do have a whip going on in this book, and this book is really cool because it is Western fairy tales reimagined in a traditional Korean style, hence the name Hanbok Fairy Tales. We have uh, ones you might recognize, like Beauty and the Beast, where the beast is now a tiger. We have Thumbelina. Look how small she is. We also have Snow White. Instead of an apple, this version of Snow White seems to be eating a pomegranate. And my whip in this book actually is in the Korean Alice in Wonderland section. It's the very last page of the book that can be colored, and it is this absolutely gorgeous Korean Queen of Hearts. Doesn't she absolutely slay? And she's going to slay even more once I find the time and energy to finish her. Just doing her hair and her skin was very much a labor of love, and I don't even want to think about doing the background right now. But that is Hanbok Fairy Tales by Woo Na-young. Now, next, I'd like to show off a book by a YouTuber who is very well respected in the coloring community, and that is Vibrant Wilds by Sarah Renee Clark. When I first saw this book, I knew I had to get it. I actually ended up getting two copies. I got a copy for myself and a copy for my grandmother. And needless to say, my grandmother has colored in hers much more than I've colored in mine. And I typically like to rank my books in terms of whimsy, and I do feel like this book is a little on the less whimsy side, but the art is just so charming and accessible and beautiful. It could be the least whimsical thing on the planet, and I would very much still want to color in it. And the page I've done in this book is this jellyfish page. I actually did this page when I was still fairly new to coloring, which is why the background is not the best, but I am still really proud of how I was able to use my materials. I used Neocolor 2s for the background and Derwent Inktense for everything else, as well as a white gel pen to go around the actual jellyfish. Now I'd like to show you my very small collection of books by Maria Trolla, starting with Shooting Star, and of course this is an untouched book. Everybody basically knows who Maria Trolla is, and Basically, I found myself not so drawn to her older books, but her books from Shooting Star and beyond, I am very much into. So I'm going to find the page I'm going to color first in Shooting Star. Well, that was easy. I've flipped right to it. It's this page with the cute little axolotls, and they're like, "Oh, what is this thing? Can we eat this? Can we eat this? I want to eat this." Um, I very much love the way the axolotls are drawn, and I'm very much would like to try coloring them the way actual axolotls look. So this is going to be my first page in Shooting Star. My next book by Maria Trolla is Fairy Tale World, and I actually did color in this book a while ago, and I colored the very last page, which is this sugar plum fairy. And I realized I could have done a lot better with the shading on her dress, as well as the shading on her skin. Those are definitely mistakes I will not be making, but I am still very proud of the way the candy canes turned out, as well as the lollipops. I also did my best to try to make the sugar plums look somewhat realistic by adding white acrylic dots, and this was mostly done with Albrecht Dürer and Inktense pencils. My last book by Maria Trolla is her newest release, Det Magiska Biblioteket, or The Magic Library. As the child of a librarian, I knew I needed this book as soon as it released. And I am so happy to have it. It's so sweet, and it's single-sided, which is very unique for Maria Trolla. The page I did in this book is very whimsical. This page actually started out as a buddy color, but I don't know if my buddy ever finished her page. But still, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I mostly used Neocolor 2, Inktense, and Albrecht Dürer, as well as metallic gel pen for the chain going around the frame, and Ohuhu acrylic markers to add the acrylic marker flower details and clouds in the sky. Now, finally, we get to the artist I have the most books by, my absolute favorite artist currently, Hanna Karlsson. And I would like to start out showing off my Hanna Karlsson collection with Halloween. This is a book that hasn't been released in English yet, but being the Samhainophile I am, I knew I needed it in my collection immediately. And I actually have a whip in this book. It's this page right here. I know it looks almost done, but I still need to finish the glowing effect around this bottle, then add it to the cup, and then maybe do some shading. But this was mostly done with Inktense, Neocolor 2, and a bit of silver gel pen. Next is Hannah's compilation book, Grains of Gold. I have yet to touch this book, and I mostly got it because a lot of the pages in Daydreams that I like are present in this book. And that means I didn't really have to buy Daydreams. And the first page I want to color in this book is actually this spiral rose. Don't ask me why. I do enjoy coloring flowers, and especially roses. They're just very satisfying to color. And the way Hannah draws them is super awesome and beautiful. Next is Magical Dawn, and it is also untouched. So I'm going to find the first page I'm going to color in Magical Dawn. Okay, I think I've decided that this rainbow dust page is going to be my very first. I really loved the way I colored that bottle of fairy dust in Tales from the Forest Kingdom, and I would very much like to see if I can replicate that sheer adoration and pride in this page, but make it more rainbow. Oh, look, Jewelry Box is another untouched book, and because this book recently went out of print, I am so glad I got it when I did. There are two of Hannah's books that I had to pay an exorbitant amount for, um, because they went out of print. But I was determined to have them because, like I said, she's basically my coloring Oshi at this point. If you don't know what Oshi means, it basically means your favorite person. And the page I would first like to color is this portrait cameo page. My great grandmother actually had a cameo that I've essentially inherited it, and I would love to sort of see if I could replicate that sort of look on this page. But if not, then it's just a beautiful lady I can color. I can color her skin, I can color her hair, I can color all the things I like to color. Now let's find my first page in Summer Nights, because you know I have yet to touch it. Okay, this was actually a super easy decision. I fell in love with this page the moment I saw it, and it was actually one of the pages that made me decide to buy Summer Nights. It was also thanks to a tutorial I saw by Ms. Karen at My Colorful Country Life for coloring white objects. The result she had was absolutely fantastic and beautiful, and I would love to see if I can come up with my own fantastic, beautiful combination for these flowers. Now we get on to my very expensive, out of print Hannah Carlson books. I was able to get the Dutch version of Seasons for less than the cost of my Immortal Soul. So, because of that, you know I haven't touched this book yet. It's been way too precious and way too unattainable for me. I will admit I definitely put this book on a pedestal, and I know I need to color in it. It's just a book at the end of the day. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely at getting better to the point where I do want to color in this. And I'm going to find the first page I'm going to color. Oh, look, another page with bottles. This page seems rather simple, but I think starting simple in this book will lead me to less regret. So I'm going to mark this page with my washi tape. And of course, I also had to get the Dutch edition of Spirit Animals, which is called Soulmates. And unlike all my other old books by Hannah Carlson, I actually colored in this book. And it was one of my early colorings because I was just way too excited to get this when I first got it. And because of that, I do have concerns. Well, not concerns, but where is it? This is the page I colored in Soulmates. As you can see, I did not yet know how to color skin when I colored this. I barely knew how to color hair and fur. What is fur? Baby, don't hurt me no more. That being said, I do still like the way the candy around her neck turned out, and I do like the overall vibe with her crazy makeup and just general playful demeanor. And a big part of why I ended up buying Grains of Gold is because this page is in the compilation book, and I would very much like a second chance at coloring it now that I know at least somewhat what I'm doing. Going on to Hannah's more recent releases, I have Tales from the Castle Ruin, which you already know I touched. I showed off my completed page in here in my first video. So this one doesn't get any washi tape. Next is the other book I showed off, Tales from the Forest Kingdom, and I showed you the bottle of fairy dust I colored, but I also have another completed page in this book, which is this beautiful page. And I decided that this character would be one who facilitates the passing of the seasons, which is why I decided to combine the ice blue and the autumnal oranges and the very vivid greens. I didn't give this page a background because I was still very scared of backgrounds at the time, and to be honest, I still kind of am. Don't give me a background. Tales from the Midnight Masquerade is untouched. I'm going to say it plainly. So I'm going to find the first page I'm going to color in Tales of the Midnight Masquerade. Uh-oh. Okay, so I forgot I actually colored this singular strawberry on this cocktail page. So I guess this is going to be the first page I work on. I'll still give it the washi tape, otherwise I might forget about it. Now, this is a book I feel really bad about, Tales from the Witch's Cottage. I feel bad because not only is it untouched, but it's one of the very first coloring books I ever bought. I thought the art was stunning. I love witches. I love magic. I love everything spooky and scary and skeleton-y. And I just haven't touched this book yet. Once again, I think I'm going to start small and color this lovely witch first. I love the frame around her. I love Hannah's, profile images. And I love this sun and moon motif at the bottom here. So I think this will be a good way to break in the book. Tales from the City Among the Stars is actually a book I've colored in before. And I'm going to show you the page I colored. It's this one right here. Rather simple, but I love the way it turned out. I mostly used Derwent Inktense, Albrecht Dürer's, and a little bit of polychromos for the frame. This is actually my first time using polychromos. And of course, I had to come in with some acrylic markers and a gold gel pen. The last book in my Hannah Carlson collection and in my hardcover book collection overall is Tales from Atlantis, and I actually have an ongoing whip in this book. This lovely lady right here. I know that I used Neocolor Twos to start coloring her hair, and her skin is all done with polychromos, and the moon behind her is Inktense. I just haven't yet decided what color I want her dress to be, and if I want to continue the background. Next, I'll be moving on to books that are soft cover, and basically I'll call this section artists whose books I own multiple of. And I'm going to start with books that have sort of become my mortal enemy. Those are Wildflower Folk and Wondrous Folk by Christine Karen. Now, I'm sure Christine Karen herself is a wonderful person, and her artwork is absolutely fantastic. But these were some of the first books I ever got as a colorist, and the paper in these Blue Angel published books does not agree with me. Both of these books are touched, and I will show you that these are very early works of mine. I absolutely hate the way this skin turned out. I think it looks very flat. That being said, I am very happy with how the pearls and the flowers turned out. So this was definitely a sort of learning experience on my part. And before that, I colored this page, which I like immensely better. For some reason, the blue skin tone looks a lot less flat to me, and yet her hair somehow looks flat. I'm definitely going to have to learn how to color in these books properly. And in Wondrous Folk, I have one completed page, and that would be this Genie character. I completed her not too long after my works in Wildflower Folk, and honestly, I think she looks a lot better than either of them. Her pink skin is basically based on the Monster High character Gigi Grant, who is also a genie, and I basically took I took all of Gigi's color scheme and translated it into this page here. My next two books are Lunar and Oceans to Stars by Lydia Fenwick. And again, neither of these books are touched. I just think the artwork is so beautiful that the idea of ruining one of these books makes me very scared. But I will be picking the first pages in each that I want to work on. And for my first page in Lunar, I want to color this beautiful Year of the Snake woman. I really like how symmetrical she is for some reason, and I feel like starting with one of these gorgeous portraits would be a lot easier than starting with one of the full scenes featuring the animal of the zodiac. Now to pick the first page I'm going to do in Oceans to Stars. And I decided the first page I'm going to do in Oceans to Stars is this Libra page. Now, why exactly Libra when I'm a Virgo? Well, it's simple. Hydrangeas are my favorite flowers, and apparently the flower for Libra is a hydrangea. That's simple enough for me. Next, I'm moving on to my Johanna Basford books. My first one is Rooms of Wonder, and I've already shown you the peculiarity of it being spiral bound, and I already showed my singular whip in this book. So it is touched, but don't get used to this. This is one of my only Johanna Basford books that is touched so far. Next, by Ms. Basford, I have Magical Worlds, an enchanted coloring adventure, and I need to pick out which page I'm going to color first in this book. Not going to be an easy feat because there are so many good pages. They're all so magical. Well, I think I'm going to have to try to color these beautiful gems. I really like the idea of coloring gems, and hopefully I can master it, and this page will definitely be a big help. So this is going to be my first page in Magical Worlds. My next book is Worlds of Wonder, a coloring book for the curious, and this book feels a good bit heftier than my other books by Johanna Basford. The paper feels a lot thicker and it feels really amazing, actually. This book is untouched, and I'm going to have to pick out which coloring page I want to color first. I think I would like to give this moth page a try first. The paper is so very thick, and I love the symmetry. I think coloring it with a beautiful dark night sky and the moth being pale shades of green and cream and maybe even blue would be super beautiful. World of Flowers is my last big book by Johanna Basford. Yeah, I actually don't own her original Holy Quaternity, Secret Jungle, Garden, Forest, Flower, Mountain. Don't mind me. I don't own any of those. It's her newer books that mostly interest me. And World of Flowers is no different, and it is also untouched. Honestly, I'd say there's something about these two pages that really speaks to me. I could do either, or I could do both, and I could make them complement each other rather well. I'm going to have to reach out a bit for these next two, but I'm sure you know which ones are coming up. Uh, they're very small, but very mighty. And those would definitely be Inklings and Small Victories, or as I like to call it, Smictories. I've had my copy of Smictories for quite a while now. Oh, something fell. And as you can tell, it's a little worn. That being said, I haven't colored that much in it, though it is touched. I have a whip here that I've done completely with glitter gel pen. And I have another page in here that I've also done completely in glitter gel pen. Just no shading, no nonsense, just straight up gel pen. And I actually really like it still. It's cute. Now, Inklings, I also have a whip in, if you can even call it a whip. It's a whip of a whip. It's a whisper of a whip, one might say. And it's this page with all of the boba. I just thought it was so cute. I knew I had to color it immediately, but then I got kind of distracted and just haven't come back to it yet. But know that I do intend to finish it. All 9 little boba wins. Now I'd like to show you the 3 books I have by Rita Bearman. She is actually another one of my favorite illustrators, and I'm kind of sad to only have 3 of her books. I am looking to get her travel books eventually, but until I've colored more in the books I have by her, I would rather abstain. Now, the first book I have by her is Das Land der kleinen Abenteuer, and I'm really sorry if I butchered that. I do not speak German. And I've got to say, this book is one of my absolute favorites. It is beyond whimsical, and I feel like anything goes inside of it. Now, I will admit, actually, that this is my second copy of Das Land der kleinen Abenteuer. My first copy kind of got ruined by coffee, and so I had to discard it. And because of that, I only have one whip in this book that I'm trying to reclaim. And it is this page with these adorable snails. As you see, I finished 2 of these little snail vignettes, and I'm working on the 3rd. And hopefully I can get that finished soon, and the 4th will not be far behind. Next, I have Hidden Earth. This is another book I love immensely, and I still have a whip inside of it, though I guess you could call it not a complete page, but a complete vignette. And that's this little snail right here. I actually really love this snail, and I can't wait to color his friends, and maybe even his mother snail right here. And so the only untouched book I have by Rita Bearman is Hidden Oceans. I actually really love sea creatures and marine life, so getting this book was a no-brainer for me, but I do still have to pick the first page I'm going to color in it. Okay, remember the jellyfish I did by Sarah Renee Clark? Well, there's a jellyfish in this book too, and I've got a thing for Nidarians, okay? If I see a jellyfish, it is on site. I am coloring this jellyfish first. Next, I'd like to share the mythographic books I have. Most of them are by Fabiana Attanasio, but I do have one by Veronica Kolinska and one by Joseph Kattenbaum. So first, I'm going to go over the ones by Fabiana Attanasio. The first one I ever got was Cosmic Spirit. And I'm sorry, but it's still untouched. It's a very beautiful book, very up my alley. I love supernatural things. I love cosmos. I love the cosmos. I love tarot. I love astrology and mystical things. I don't really ascribe to them, but I do love them thematically. And so I have to pick the first page I'm going to color in this book. And I think I found my first page, and it's going to be death. I love skeletons, I love bones, I love skulls, and this skeleton seems very romantic to me for some reason. Maybe it's all the flowers surrounding him. Maybe it's Maybelline, I don't know. But yes, this is going to be my first page in Cosmic Spirit. Next is my second oldest mythographic, and second untouched mythographic, Fantasy Forest, also by Fabiana Attanasio. And let me see what this book has to offer. Okay, another thing about me, I love fish in places that fish don't belong, especially fish in space. And I wouldn't necessarily call these space fish, but they are forest fish, sky fish, and they are flying. And I really want to color them like they're like fish from the cosmos in like a forest at twilight. I think that would be really fun. Fairy Wonderland by Fabiana Attanasio is my third untouched mythographic. I just basically decided to get every book by Fabiana that had the word fairy in the name, and that's how I decide which mythographics I like. But I'm going to pick out my first page in this book. Okay, these absolute divas immediately caught my eye. I love the lantern behind them, and I love the way they're posed. It looks like they're dancing. They almost look like dolls, like fashion dolls, and I'm a big fan of fashion dolls. My last book by Fabiana Attanasio is Fairy Folklore, Mythographic Fairy Folklore, and as you know, I actually did do a piece in this book. I won't linger on this too long, but I will say that I used Ohuhu alcohol markers and polychromos pencils for this page. Next, I have my mythographics that aren't by Fabiana Attanasio, and I have two of them. I have Mythographic Alice in Wonderland by Joseph Kattenbaum, and since my last video, I actually finished my whip of the Queen of Hearts. I ended up using Ohuhu alcohol markers, Derwent ink tints, and Faber-Castell polychromos for this page. And my last mythographic is another untouched one, Mythical Beasts by Veronica Kolinska. As soon as I saw this one, I knew I had to have it. And fun fact about this book that isn't fun at all, the first copy I got was actually defective. Some pages were printed twice, but also some pages were missing entirely. And so I had to send it back to Amazon and get a new copy. I actually did have a whip in my old copy, but because I had to send it back, I unfortunately lost it. And I know which page I want to color first in here. It's the page that I was whipping when I had to send it back, which is the very last page of the book, the Mothman page. I mean, he's a fellow cryptid. How could I not? I know it's not a mythographic, but it is mythographic adjacent. And so I'd like to share the one and only Mythagoria book I have, which is Midnight Murderess by Alessandra Husi. And I will admit, her style is very intimidating to me, but this book is full of baddies, and I absolutely love it. So I am going to pick out which baddie I'm going to color first. Okay, I think I've settled on this long-necked baddie. For those who don't know, this woman is probably inspired by a Japanese yokai called the Rokurokubi, who is basically just a woman with a very long neck. They don't tend to be murderous, but you know, they can have a little murder as a treat. Next, I'm going to be sharing my surprisingly small collection by Kirby Rosanis. Kirby Rosanis is one of the first illustrators I picked up a book by, and I definitely don't regret that. But that being said, I still find his style quite daunting. And I ended up picking up his compilation book, Color Universe, A World of Coloring Challenges. And boy, are these challenges challenging. I haven't touched this book yet, though I am looking forward to it. It has a lot of very cool pages, though some of them are in other books I own. And honestly, I think the first page I want to color is the cover page. This beautiful big fish. It's going to be a challenge, but I still love the idea. Like I told you about the space fish, I would love to make this fish look like it's also from space, even though it's got water for a tail and people are surfing on it. Who's to say you can't surf in space? I have another compilation by Kirby, which is Mythic Animals. This book stayed by my side for quite a while because I actually have a finished page in it, or should I say finished pages. The page that actually made me buy it in the first place, the last pages of the book, which is one of my favorite cryptids of all time, the Groot Slong. As soon as I learned there was a Groot Slong in the coloring world, I knew I had to find it and I had to color it. This was a very early work of mine, and I still don't completely dislike it. But obviously, I feel I can do better now. And let me tell you, so much ochre was used on this page. I would very much like to redo this page without having to extend so much ochre. But I did end up using Derwent Inktense, Prismacolors, a bit of gold gel pen, and that one ochre Neocolor 2. Rip that Neocolor 2. Now, because I found out he had a book entirely about mythical creatures and folklore, you knew I had to get it. I had to get it, and I have yet to color in it. But when the time comes, you know I'm going to attack it with the ferocity of this lion and this boar and also this deer. So which page am I going to color first? Honestly, as much as I would love to give the Groot Slong another go, I know it can't be my first. I've got to warm up to it. So I would really love to color this picture of the Aztec death goddess. I believe her name is Itzpapalotl. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Now you can tell I'm definitely a new colorist because Dark Fairy Tales is actually the first book I ever got by Kirby Rosanis, and it came out just last year. This copy is untouched, but I've looked through it many a time, and I definitely know which page I want to color first. This Cinderella page has spoken to me since day one. Why it's not colored yet, I don't know. Maybe it's because I am scared, but I love everything about it. I love how sad she looks. I love the way the dead prince looks. Um, I feel like this could be a ball in the afterlife, or maybe a ball in hell, or um, somewhere scary. I don't know, Detroit. I don't know. That's all of my books by Kirby Rosanis. And now I'm going to move on to the artist I have the second most amount of books by, and that's Camilla Dorico. I fell in love with Camilla whenever I saw all of the crazy and creepy and cool little creatures she ended up drawing, and I've been hooked ever since. This is Flights of Fancy, pop manga Flights of Fancy, and this book has yet to be touched because it is admittedly one of my newer books. And the first page I'd like to do is this cat girl with this adorable winged kitty. It's so cute. I don't really know how to color fur, but it seems this little guy already has enough fur of its own, so I can just really color it. Oh my god, I would love to have an adorable little kitty like this in real life. A very new book for me, a new book for all of us, is pop manga Myths and Monsters. Now, when I saw this book was coming out, I was like, Camilla, you know my name, you have my number, you may even have my social security number, okay? Because myths and monsters are two of my favorite things in the whole world. And just seeing the cover made me so excited. There are so many little mythical creatures. You've got this gorgeous Gorgon, you've got a baby manticore, you've got an Almirage, a little stone kappa, and all these little slimes that look like they came out of a Ghibli movie. It's absolutely amazing. This book isn't touched yet because, again, I haven't had it for very long. Is this page of the Grei. I think that's how they're pronounced. The Grey sisters. They were a trio of sisters from Greek mythology who all shared one eye and one tooth. This may be the inspiration for this image, as they all seem to share this one eye, but it seems they do all have their own teeth. I guess that's, good for them. Pop manga, dragons, and other magically mythical creatures. I actually spent a lot of time in this book because I have 2 complete pages and also a whip. And the page I was absolutely smitten by as soon as I opened this book was this mini Cthulhu, or as my friends call him, Cthulhu Woo. That was terrible. I used basically all Derwent Inktense for him, and yeah, he's just a little guy, and I love him. My one whip is this griffin. I would like to continue it and even color the dragon that is with it, but the sad thing is the dragon's face is in the ditch, and that was poor planning on somebody's part. That makes me kind of sad. And the last completed page I have in this book is this beautiful sea dragon. I actually ended up coloring this for the March of Dragons hashtag, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. I threw everything at this guy. Inktense, polychromos, Prismacolor, Holbein, and even some Neocolor 2 and acrylic markers. Camilla Dorico's Pop Manga Painted Ink is a very special book. It's a short book, but it is printed on watercolor paper that is also very good for markers. And I have 2 whips and a completed page in this book. This is one of the whips I have. I definitely did this mostly to practice coloring skin, namely darker skin. And I would very much like to finish it soon because I really like how it turned out. My other whip is a bit more daunting. It's these adorable kappa, and I actually tried out my Schminke Horadum watercolors on this page. It was just a play around to see how the paper reacted, but now that I know what it's like, I would really like to continue coloring them with the same watercolors and then come back with either my regular colored pencil or something else. And my completed page in this book is this adorable fairy. I used nothing but markers for this, alcohol markers. I used Ohuhu markers for her skin and Copic markers for everything else. This paper actually kind of got me excited about using alcohol markers on watercolor paper, which is really weird, but I'm still super satisfied with the results, and she's just super cute. Love her. Pop Manga Beauties and Beasties was a book I knew I needed as soon as I saw it. I mean, I love beauties, I love beasties. Who doesn't love a good little beastie? Look at this little beastie. Look at this beastie. Beasties are great. I want to say I have. Oh, yes, I definitely have a finished page in this book, and it is a very early page of mine, but I still can't help but love it. And that is Ferdinand. Ferdinand loves love. I colored this in June of last year. As you can see, it is violently pride themed, and that is exactly what I wanted of it. I call this little guy Ferdinand because he's furry, but in actuality, he is a yokai called a Kyukigen. And the thing with Kyukigen is that they're known for being really dirty little Muppets that just spread disease and sickness and grossness. But instead of spreading disease and sickness and grossness, Ferdinand spreads love. Furry love. Pop Manga Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures is a book I actually put off getting for a long time, and I don't know why, because I bloody love mermaids. Despite loving mermaids so much, this book is actually untouched, and it also has a dust cover for some reason. None of the other books have dust covers, but I'm going to find the first page I'm going to do in this book. Okay, I think I really want to do this mermaid right here. She just looks so sweet and so glamorous with her little tentacle crown, and I feel I could really bring her to life with some, maybe a supernatural skin tone and some really pretty hair. The last book I have by Camilla Dorigo is Pop Manga Cute and Creepy. This book, I believe, also have a completed page in, and honestly, I just love this cover. Look at this little guy. He's like, Wah! Yeah, he's having fun. They're all having fun. And I colored this adorable little chibi Loch Ness monster. This was another very early work of mine, and I used basically all Derwent Inktense and a little bit, just a tiny bit of Prismacolor. I thought I could make the background of the water look a lot better, but it was a learning process. And now I'm going to show off the books in the category of artists I only have one book by. Now, these artists may have more than one book available, but I only have one book of theirs in my collection so far. And I will be starting with A Million Hugs and Kisses by Lulu Mayo. I have tried to color in Lulu Mayo before in her Kawaii Tarot book, but I just could not get into it, and I ended up giving Kawaii Tarot to my grandmother, which she greatly enjoyed, so it wasn't a waste. But I actually have two completed pages in this book, and they are neighbors. I first completed this page with the adorable gnome girl and her little Cheeto kitty and frog in the rain. I love the way the rain turned out, and I just really find it very cozy and enjoyable to look at. And the second page I completed is this page with the little imp girl and the lion. I actually polled my friends to see if I should color the lion realistically or fantastically, and my fiance was the first to respond and said the lion should be fantastical. So I made a blue lion. And because of the rainbows and all of the colors, I decided that this would be my pride page for 2026. The next book I have is another problem book in my collection. Manga Mania by Christopher Hart. Fun fact, I actually had one of Christopher Hart's drawing books when I was a preteen. And it was quite something, but I'm glad to say he's still around and that his artwork is still awesome. I've heard so many things about this book not liking water, and that really scares me because these images are intense, and not being able to base them kind of scares me. But anyway, it's untouched, so I've got to find a page to color first. Okay, I've got to color this rocker guy first. Another fact about me, I love visual kei, which is basically a Japanese musical art style that involves like flamboyant costuming and um, just being very out there and even androgynous. And some visual kei artists take on a very dark aesthetic, while others take on a more fun and whimsical aesthetic. I would very much like to color this guy like a visual kei artist. Reveries by Naomi Kanani is my next book, and oh my gosh, when I first saw this book, I knew it was right up my alley. It is filled with incredibly strange and fantastical dreamscapes, some of them even bordering on nightmarish. And as someone who for a long time has had strange dreams of their own, it really resonates with me. And I actually finished my first page in this book not too long ago. And it is this page. I based most of it with Derwent Inktense, and then I did everything else with a mix of Neocolor 2s and Faber-Castell Polychromos. I especially love how the skin turned out. Now, this next book was a bit of a very strange buy for me. Not only is it strange, but it actually made me break one of my rules to not buy books associated with pre-existing media. That being said, I looked through the artwork and it was fantastic. And also, the paper quality is also fantastic. So I ended up getting the official Magic the Gathering coloring book. What do I know about Magic? I know that there are 5 colors. There's hot, dead, wet, wood, and really hot. And that's about it. My best friend is actually super into Magic, and I actually showed him a bunch of the book, and he was able to help me recognize some things. And I actually have a whip in this book. It is the Black Lotus page. If you don't know anything about Magic, Black Lotus is a very old card that is very powerful and very not legal to play. It is also very expensive. And the artwork is actually really nice. I thought I would base everything with Inktense and then come back and throw everything dry I have at it to make it look almost as much like the card as I possibly could. Now, next is a fun little book that I'm sad I haven't touched yet. It is Bunnies and Wagons by Heather Gross. And, you know, they're just cute little bunnies and wagons. We love the bunnies and wagons. And I've got to figure out which of the bunnies and wagons I'm going to color first. Okay, who doesn't love a nice little tea bath with a friend? This is just so cute. Look at the little dwagon. He wants to eat the sugar. Silly little dwagon. Dream Voyage by Melpomene Hatzapeniotu. This book scares me. It's beautiful, and I've had it for a while, but it scares me. I'm gonna have to color in this. It scares me. I think I've said that enough times. The artwork is stunning, but it is also very daunting. So I'm going to see which page I'm going to color first. You know what? This very last page seems very, very easy compared to everything else. I think if I started with this page and worked my way into the book, it would be very good for everybody involved, meaning me and the book, and Ms. Melpomene herself, maybe. Now I'm going to show you the only book I've ever ordered from Lyrica, which is Coloriage Sorcières et Creatures Féeriques. Sorry if I mispronounced that, I do not speak French, by Helena Kanak. This book is untouched, but it's rather new to me, and it's super cute. I love anything to do with witches and their little pets, their little familiars. We've got some very Halloween-oriented pages, and it's just super cute. And I've got to find the first page I want to color. Okay, I think I'd like to start simple in this book, and just color this very cute witch. She's kind of giving me magical girl vibes, and I would love to make her very colorful and sweet looking with a nice background. This book is a book I got from Etsy, and it is Dunkelbunt by Sarah Richter. It is on amazing quality paper with amazing artwork, and it is spiral bound. And it came all the way from Germany, so it's one of, I want to say, 2 German books I have now. And I did actually complete a page in this book. This beautiful lady is named Valandriel, but because I based her color scheme off of the JoJo villain Cars, my friends have lovingly nicknamed her Trucks. So everybody say hi to Trucks, Valandriel Trucks. Big fan. The next book I have is Modern Manga Coloring Book by Lydia Cambone, and I actually colored my first page in this book a while ago. It's a very cute book with very cute artwork, very friendly for alcohol markers if that's your chosen media. And the page I did is this adorable little mushroom witch. I know I colored her mushroom more like a pumpkin, but you know, mushrooms can be orange, and yeah, I love her. I used alcohol markers, Ohuhu alcohol markers, and shaded with polychromos. Another lesser-known book is Galaxy Gals, an alcohol marker coloring book of Mighty Cosmic Heroines by Kara Ann Aldridge. If you're looking for a book for space timber, this is definitely the one you should get. If you like using alcohol markers, you should also get this book, but make sure you still put a page behind because ghosting will happen. This book is single-sided and perforated, and the paper is amazing, and so is the artwork. I actually have this whip in this book. I just really wanted to practice coloring skin. And I also have a completed page in this book, which is this page. Please ignore the background. I was trying to make a fun background for this queen because she absolutely deserves it, but I didn't do that great of a job. Still, I like how she herself turned out. I love the stars on her dress. I love the phases of the moon. I love her sparkly gold gel pen tights. I used all Ohuhu markers for this, as well as the Uniball Signo gold gel pen. Now, this is my only Creative Haven book, Pretty Creepy Coloring Book by Hana Konetsky. I didn't know that Creative Haven would ever be my style, but I saw this book and I was like, wow, I actually really like the contents of this book. And I have yet to touch it, but I will be finding my first page to color. You know, you can't go wrong with a snail. Oh, wait, I just realized this book was perforated. Um, you know, you can't go wrong with a snail, okay? I will definitely be coloring this snail for my Sunday snurch session. That was hard to say. The point is, I like snails. The last book in this category is very much an underdog and a wild card, and I love it so much. This is Fabulous by Alexi Gray. Alexi Gray is an artist I found on Instagram, and when I found out they had a book of nothing but fantastical male characters, I knew I had to buy it. And that's exactly what this book is. It's a bunch of fantastical, fancy men, which is not something you see very often in the coloring community. So I absolutely, of course, I bought it. That's like, I love the underdogs, and I love when people make men fancy. I have a couple of whips in here, including this one, as well as this one. Again, there was an evening when I just wanted to color skin. So if you've never heard of this book, now you have, and I really hope you give it a look through. Right. Next, I will be showing off my books from China and Japan, starting with my books from China, as I only have 4 and they're all by the very same artist. The first one I have is Coloring Book of Flowers and Sweet Girls by Dada Mao, and it is untouched. As soon as I saw this book, I knew I had to have it. It is so sweet and so pretty, as well as so is the rest of Dada Mao's artwork, honestly. And you know what? You know the hydrangea girl is going to be the first one I'm going to color. I love hydrangeas so much. Next book I have, I believe, is called Journey of a Thousand Ghosts, and it is also by Dada Mao. It is yet to be touched, and I will be finding my first. The first page I think I'm going to color is this beautiful woman with the skulls and spider web in the back. She looks gorgeous, but she also might be deadly. Could she also be a midnight murderess? I wonder. Oh, look, she's got a spider friend. I guess she is a midnight murderess. The third book I have of Dada Mao's, I believe, translates something to Drunken Flower Beauty, and it is a bunch of, classical Chinese people who are just very pretty. And it's going to be hard deciding who to color in here first. You know, as much as we love beautiful women in the coloring community, we also need to give love to beautiful men, and that's what I intend to do in this book, at least right off the bat. All right, my last Chinese book and my last book by Dada Mao is what I believe is called The Classic Mountains and Seas, and it is the only book so far that I've actually colored in. And I colored... Oh, come on. I colored this page using Holbeins and acrylic markers. Basically, that's all I used. It was still very early in my coloring journey, but I still can't help but feel a sense of pride when I see this page, because I love my space fish. I love how my space fish turned out. And it's a space fish. And last but not least, I'm going to share with you all of my Japanese coloring books. The most recent Japanese coloring book I got was this one, The Animals in the World of A to Z. Animals in the World of A to Z by Chizuka. And this book is super adorable. It's from the Kodawari series, so there aren't that many pages, but the artwork is super cute, and each page or pages corresponds to a letter of the English alphabet. And I do have a work in progress, very early work in progress in this book, and it is on the U page, which stands for Unicorn, Umbrella, and Universe, I believe. I wanted to color this beautiful space unicorn with my Neocolor 2s, but I didn't know how it would work. And so far, no bleed through, but I may just finish everything else with dry pencils. That'll be happy for everybody. My next Japanese book is the Greek mythology coloring book by Yoshimi Sekiguchi. Um, this book is relatively new to me as well, but when I found out there was a Japanese book, basically all about Greek mythology, I knew I had to get it because I love mythology and I love the artwork in this book. Of course, it is untouched, and I'm going to find which page to color first. And I believe the page I want to color first is this page towards the back of the book, depicting Pandora opening her box. Now, typically in ancient Greek mythology, Pandora did not open a box, she opened a jar. But I suppose the artist decided that a box would be more suiting for this page instead. Even still, I'm going to color it. It's nice. Now, this is the only book I own by the very well-known artist Eri. It is her World Legends book, also known mostly as, well, World Legends. It's World Legends. Fairies and a Magic Kingdom of something, I'm not really sure. But I haven't touched it yet. And honestly, it was very daunting for me because I didn't know which pencils to use on it. But I'm going to show you the first page once I find it. After looking through all of the pages, I think this double page spread of the Western Zodiac may be what I color first. It seems like a good little starting point, jumping in point, and the vignettes are super cute as well. I'd like to see each one of them colored differently. The next book I have is called Story of Modern Girl and Cats by Nelko Neko. This, I believe, is Nelko Neko's lesser-known book. I know she has the Story of Precious Cats, but this one appealed to me way more. And despite that, I haven't colored in it yet. And I think the first page I want to color is this beautiful demon girl. She's got these horns, but also these angelic wings. Perhaps she's a fallen angel, or just a demon with fluffy wings, you know? She looks kind of awesome, honestly. Just really like her. Next, I'm going to be showing off both books that Kuroi Mori has published so far. We've got the Dream Girls Museum and the Victorian Fantasy Collection. Now, I've already showed off my completed page in Victorian Fantasy Collection, with which I use nothing but my dry pencils. Prismacolor, Holbein, and Polychromos, but I do actually have another whip in this book, and it is the very last page in the book called The Abandoned Wonderland. And yes, I'd very much like to get back to finishing this page soon. As for the Dream Girls Museum, I have yet to color in it, so I have to pick out my first page. And I think my first page is going to be this one, which is titled Greeting the Sun from a Sundial. I just like how she's floating. It looks very magical and loose, and I'd like to give her a really nice background. Next, I have all 4 books from the Colors Make You Happy series by Miki Take. This book right here is the Dream Stages book. This is I believe this is the Dream Fantasy book. This is the Dream Happiness book. And this is the Dream Princesses book. And the only one I've colored in so far is actually the first book I showed off, the Dream Stages book. This book is completely revolving around performance on stage, either acting or ballet or dancing. And you've got a mixture of humans and cute animals doing things as well. Like, look at these little guys. They're so cute. And the page I finished in this book is this one, which I did very early on. I noticed that my water media weren't really working in this book, so I kind of panicked and just went into overdrive with my Prismas. I would definitely color this page differently now, especially give the ballerina's skin more dimension, but like, it's definitely not my least favorite page. As for these other 3, I'm going to have to pick out pages that I want to be my first page. Okay, I think I want my first page in the Dream Fantasy book to be this adorable hedgehog page. Just look at these little guys. They're wearing party hats. They're having a good time, especially with all their acorns. They're just really cute. Look at that one. So cute. Now I'm going to pick out the page in Dream Happiness I want to color first. And that page would be this perfume bottle page. Again, I love coloring bottles. These bottles are going to be so pretty when they're all colored together. Maybe I could just color one at a time. That would make it really easy, sort of like the gems in that one Johanna Basford book. And last, the Dream Princess book is all fairy tales. It's based on different fairy tales from around the world. And each page is, again, really cute. And I'm going to have to decide which one I want to do first. And my first chosen page in this book is the Little Mermaid page. I absolutely love mermaids, and this mermaid is really pretty. I can already see that her having like teal hair and maybe a purple tail and just very mermaid colors. My next book also broke my rule of no books pertaining to pre-existing media, but I didn't feel as bad about this one. And this is the Sumiko Gurashi coloring book. Sumiko Gurashi is a brand owned by Sanex, which is the parent company of Sanrio, who own Hello Kitty and Kuromi and all those little guys. Yeah, the parent company Sanex has their own set of little guys who are the Sumiko Gurashi. They're kind of like introverted little characters who just hang out in the corner of the room, and they're super cute and relatable because I'm also an introvert who hangs out in the corner of the room. And I've got to find the first page to color in this book. And I think I'm going to give this page a shot first. I know it's more of a wallpapery page, but it doesn't repeat itself too much, and the characters are all doing really cute little poses. I think it would look very good once colored in. Zasso. I only have 2 books left, and my second to last book is The Cafeteria of Dreams by Yuhuko. I actually saw this book on a pictured purpose owned by Kira, and the job she did on her page is absolutely amazing. And I decided that the artwork in this book was too good to pass up. So I basically bought it, and I haven't had it for that long, so it is very much untouched. And the page I want to tackle first is this very sweet girl with her popcorn and soda. Um, I'm immediately stricken with inspiration for this because it reminds me of an outfit that is in a game I used to play. And I would very much like to use that outfit as inspiration for her dress and her hair. Now, finally, I've come to the very last book in my collection, which is Romantic Gothic by Shirosaki Rondon. And I haven't colored in this book yet. I've had it for a while, but the pages are very daunting and the artwork is very sweet and cute, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to look for my first page. And I think I found my first page, which is going to be these 2 baddies. They look super cute and super fun. And the name of this page is actually Soap Bubbles, because they're blowing bubbles. So naturally, this will be a very good page to practice bubbles on, which is something I need to do. And I just want to make them look super fun, but also maybe a little edgy. That would be very cute. All right. And that's my current collection. I implore you not to judge me too harshly for not coloring in a lot of these gorgeous books yet. As a reminder, I do have a job and I do take care of my grandmother. And I have terrible executive dysfunction, and sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything. But this starting this channel has really lit a fire in me, and starting this month, I really plan to make it my goal to have 0 untouched books by February of next year. And everyone, please be sure to keep me to that. Please keep reminding me of my goals if it feels like I'm slacking, though hopefully I won't slack. And I'll be sure to keep you all posted. In the meantime, wish me all the luck, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.